Hi everyone, it's Mike here. So today I had the idea to create some coffin-shaped Halloween cards. Now, I know there's a few templates out there on the interwebs, but I wanted to create my own so that I could share it with you. So this first one here is literally the card that I created from a template that I created this morning. I sat down on my computer and I worked it all out and did the basic kit for this coffin card. And I'll bring in the actual printed sheets so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So this is the coffin, so front and back, and I printed this twice, stuck them both together, and then the insert piece, which is slightly smaller, I just cut out and stuck down. One side grunged it up with a little bit of vintage photo, and then the little plaque that goes on the front of the coffin I just cut out and stuck down. Now that's the very basic one. So literally I just printed the sheet twice and then back to them, grunged them up, and then stuck the insert piece in, and then I went over with vintage photo first. So that was that. Simple, just by using that one sheet. However, I didn't just want to do that, I wanted to create something more, give you the opportunity to create something a little bit more. So I did a second sheet. So on the second sheet, it's just the bare template for the coffin shape. There you go. Printed again, so just so you can see. And then the insert piece again, but this time just with a plain border. So what that enables you to do, if you cut those out, you get one of those. And then you can use that as a template and grab some dark cardstock, draw around it, cut it out, and then you have a template or a base to create this one. And then the smaller inner insert piece I used as a template, that's this one here, to cut out some smaller of those coffin shapes, and then I ran them through an embossing folder, a wood grain embossing folder. This one is from Deakin, and this is a fairly largest one. I'm not sure how big this is, but I think the size will fit on the standard kind of like Tim Holtzy ones, that kind of thing, for your A2 or A6 cards. Now I say that because I have some envelopes here. Let me just grab an envelope. So this is a standard A6 envelope and it fits in. So your A2 envelopes should fit the cards if you do them with 8.5 by 11. They should fit. So nice little sizes to send out. And I just cut them down, embossed it, and then I went over the top with some distress oxide, some vintage photo distress oxide. So this one's fairly straightforward. Like I said, I printed it twice, backed it with some glue, cut out the inner panel, this one here, and then just stuck it on the inside. And then the plaque I just stuck on the front. Grunged it with vintage photo, and done. Ready to write on and send out. Now on this, I've included in the kit Happy Halloween and RIP. So you've got a choice of either a blank one that you can stamp on, or one of those two that you can cut out and stick on the front. Now I thought these would be great as little cards, but also as little invitations too. If you wanted to have a little Halloween party and wanted to send out some invitations, you could use these for that purpose. But if you wanted to be a bit more creative, you could use the template on the second sheet to create your card base, and then use the smaller one and then emboss, stick on to get that wood grain effect on the front and the back. And then the same piece, you could use that one to stick on the inside, or a combination of both. It's entirely up to you. Now the difference being on this one is that normally these templates of these digi kits with just a few extra graphics thrown in there, so you can stick those on the front if you want to. I normally put these on my website for sale, This one I'm not going to. I'm putting it on the website, but not for sale. I'm going to do it as a free digi download from my blog. So if you go to my website, I'll put the link in the description area below for this particular video. Then you'll find that this template is there as a 2-page PDF. It's formulated as 8.5 by 11, but those of you that have A4 printers, don't worry if you print it, providing that you make sure that you fit actual size or there's no page scaling, you'll get it the right size and it will fit on an A4 sheet of paper. So you have got the opportunity of making either those ones or something like this. But you can embellish either with some of those little bits of clip art graphics, vintage graphics that I've also included on the kit for nothing. So I'm going to make another one of these. So I'll show you how. Okay, so because we're going to be creating the one from the cardstock, I'm going to be using the template sheet. So all I'm going to do is to cut out my template, just being really careful not to clip any of those little graphics. And then I'm just literally going to use my scissors and cut the coffin out as carefully as I can along that black line. So because this is probably just going to take me a few minutes, I'll just pop it onto fast forward, speed through, and I'll stick some music on just for a minute. Okay, so we've got our templates. So what I need to do is to grab a couple of pieces of dark cardstock. Now I've got some, this looks black, but actually it's like a really deep chocolatey brown. So what I'm going to do is just grab the template and I'm going to kind of line it up probably along the outside edge, just like that, so that I don't have to cut that side. And I've got a sharpened pencil, and all I'm going to do is just lightly go around the outside, just fairly lightly, make sure I'm not curling. Now because the pencil is going to leave a nice shiny line, there we go, you can see that quite plainly there. I can also squeeze out probably one of the panels, might even be able to squeeze both out actually, if I fit that onto there. Go around this way. If you only wanted to do one of the embossed panels, then just do it once. It's entirely up to you, but if you wanted to do the back as well, you could easily, if I push that up to there, there we go. So I've now got front and back and the two panels which are smaller, just to prove that they are smaller. You see it fits inside. That are going to form the wood grain panels for the back of the card. So once again, I'm going to cut these out, which is going to be a little bit more tricky because these are thicker. So I'm going to do that and then I will be right back. Okay, so that's the last cut for those. Let me just get rid of these bits and pieces, extraneous bits, and then I'm just going to grab my Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer and I'm going to just line up the crease in the middle and then run my creaser. So I've now got a nice foldable line. I'll just fold it over and I've got my coffin-shaped card base. Easy as 3.14. Just grab my bone folder, flip it over and just give it a bit of a push. Now where those pencil marks were, if you want, you can just quickly run an eraser around the edges just to remove those pencil marks. And if you've got some of that fabulous wood grain cardstock that you can purchase, then you don't even have to do the panels. You could literally just use that wood grain cardstock to create the card bases if you want to. Now, before I go any further with these, one of the things I wished I'd done on this one was I wished I'd stamped it first with a spiderweb stamp. Now I've used one previously a couple of times, and this one's going to be this stamp here from the Autumn Nights stamp set from Indigo Blue. I'm going to use this spiderweb stamp. I need to grab a stamp block because I put them away, being all nice and tidy. See, it's one of the reasons why you shouldn't tidy up, because you can never find things when you want it. And then I've got some picket fence, white picket fence distressing. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm actually going to stamp across the top. So I've got a little bit of pattern . There we go. Now I probably will die back a bit because that's the nature of the beast. I'll just give it a quick dry, and then when this is dried off I'll be right back and we'll do a little bit of embossing. Okay, so I've brought my Big Shot in and I've got my Doris embossing folder. So I'm just going to find the right spot, make sure I've got it the right way around, knowing me. That's probably the right way around. I'm going to drop that down, that'll do. And then this, my Big Shot is very, very old. This is the very first Big Shot that I ever bought, and it's about 11 years old. and still going strong. The handle's bent a little bit, but that's because I'm heavy-handed. There we go. So I've now got that wood grain, but you can see where the stamping actually goes inside the raised areas now, which is what I wanted. And I'm going to move the embossing folder around a little bit, and then I'll just whip it back through. Go back the other way, try not to wobble too much. There we go. Okay, so let's get that big shot out of the way. Don't often use it that much. Okay, so I've got the two panels now. You can see the wood grain on those. I just want to bring in a little bit more. So I've got my vintage photo distress oxide. I'm just going to add some colour. It would be easy if I just go over it. That's more like it. Just run it across the top. Then the spider web disappears behind the distress oxide on there, but you still see it in the background. Just gentle swipes over the top, and then just need to put it to one side and then let it dry, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so they're just about dry, so while they're just finishing off, I've just taken that first sheet that had the insert there, and I just cut it out, literally. And I'm going to grab some of that distressing. Where's my little mat? And then I'm just going to go around the edges. Just to add in some of that vintage photo on the inside. I'll put that to one side. Big pile of distressings here now. So I think they're pretty much dry. I think I just need to give them another quick blast, because I can still see a little bit of shine on this one. Okay, so everything's sufficiently dried enough for me to start gluing it down. So I've got my panel, so I've just flipped it over, and I'm just going to go around adding a little bit of glue just around the edges first, and then I'll just zigzag, whoops, back and forth just to make sure it's going to stick down properly. And I'm going to put that one on the back, and because I've used spirit glue, it just gives me a little bit of wiggle room to be able to position it just right. Before it grabs. And then the front. Just add the glue. Of course you could use double-sided tape, or whatever method of gluing you prefer. Of course you could use these panels different coloured cardstock if you really wanted a contrast. There's 1,000,001 different ways to be able to do it. And then turn it over, and then I can stick in my insert piece where I'm going to write my little sentiment, my little message to whoever I send this to. Now, if you know what you're doing with computer packages, that kind of thing, you could always bring that sheet of the PDF in and actually add your text to it before you print it. That's nice and central. And then we've got our coffin. I'll turn that back over again. So while I was waiting for everything to dry, I did go back and cut out a few other pieces from the kit. Mainly that little witchy girl, which I'm going to stick on the front along with that little sign there. And then I've also cut out the cat because I was looking for the other card that I created, but I seem to have tied it up with, there it is. The one directly from the kit without having to do anything. And I thought I'll just add a little bit of glue just onto the back of him. And I'm going to just sit him right at the bottom on this side, just line it up. Because one of the things that I didn't show you, and you'll probably think, well yeah, but when you look at the bases you can see that they're actually peaked like a kite tail, but when you close them they do actually stand up. I know, something simple, but sometimes we forget. So I'm just going to try and position that one. There we are. So we've got the little cat on the front of that one there, and then I can add a little bit of glue just onto the back of that plaque. Drop that on. It doesn't even have to be straight. That's the beauty of this one. Halloween, the season of wonkiness. And then we can position her so that her cape is pretty much lined up with the edge, just a little bit of an overhang. So I'm not going to add any glue right to the edge. And there you have it. One coffin-shaped Halloween card with insert, textured front and back, and stamped. But also a wooden panelled one all the way around that you can decorate and stamp on, add your own sentiment at all from a free template. So I hope you enjoyed watching me make those coffin-shaped cards. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and don't forget to pop along to my blog where you can find the free download for the template to make these cards. That's all from me for now. I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now.